Ray's ears were filled with the sound of tires gliding on the interstate as he drove along Interstate 5 in the late afternoon sun. His destination was Redwood Hill, a tranquil, diminutive town situated in the valley where his companion, Sarah, resided. Although Ray did not travel frequently for business, the experience always left him feeling depleted. However, this time he was anxious to return. He was contemplating something. Sarah. He had been patient and supportive, awaiting the appropriate moment to discuss the possibility of settling down. She consistently maintained that the stability of her design studio was of the utmost importance. That is acceptable. However, the situation appeared to be stable, as evidenced by her recent Instagram posts and the positive feedback she received from clients. Perhaps this was the appropriate moment. Ray experienced an unexplained sensation in his abdomen as he turned onto their street. The house, which featured white shutters, neat hedges, and wine chimes on the veranda, appeared both familiar and distinct. Office. He activated the garage remote. Nothing. He made an additional effort. Nothing has changed. He walked to the front door, parking the car and frowning. The key became stuck. Refused to pivot. He rang. He contacted Sarah. First silence and then footfall. Sarah's voice emanated from behind the door as I altered the latches. Remain composed. Sub-Zero. Ray blinks. What is the matter? You comprehended my message. Additionally, the garage code. What the earth is happening? You no longer reside here, she replied, her voice distant and as if she were reading a script. It is imperative that you depart. Ray was struck by the shock in the same manner as a punch to the sternum. Are you being sincere? After all that I have done for you? Sarah maintained her composure. You have completed this task. This is no longer your existence. Leaning against the door, Ray clenched his fists. Open it, Sarah refrained from using this action. A man in a blue windbreaker strode up the driveway with an envelope before she could respond. Ray Dawson? Ray swiveled. Who is inquiring? The envelope was pressed against the man's bosom by the individual. You have just been served. Inside the divorce documents, the man added, there is a restraining order to 200 yards effective immediately, and Ray barely had time to process the shock. Ray's expression was bewildered. Is this a joke? However, Sarah's voice reverberated behind the door, sounding desiccated and dismissive. Ray, today is not the day. Go and shout at someone else. He struck the door with a fury. However, we are not yet completed. This was followed by an additional voice that emerged from behind him. Mr. Dawson, said a uniformed officer leaning against the neighbor's fence. You've got two options. Walk away or I arrest you. Ray looked back one last time. No response. He entered his vehicle, his face ablaze with fury. Sarah exhaled within the residence and then gazed at a man who was standing in the kitchen, holding a goblet of wine. Has it been completed? He inquired. She grinned. He was not anticipating it. Ray attempted to deal with the transgression for several days. Sarah had not merely terminated the relationship, she had surgically removed him from her life. It was not an expression of sorrow. It was a strategy. Back at work, everything felt foggy. Colleagues gave him sympathetic glances, but no one dared ask questions except Ava. Ava was a longtime co-worker. Smart, quiet, always observing. That morning she messaged him. Please visit me. It is of paramount importance. He encountered her in the break room. The door was shut by her. She stated plainly, I am aware of Sarah. However, there is more to the story. Please observe this. She presented him with a folder. Screenshots were contained within. Emails. Images. Sarah and a familiar man, who was dressed in a sharp suit and was handsome, were seen laughing during a supper. Who is he? Julian Webb is his name. Advertising consultant. Sarah and I initiated our collaboration 3 months ago. The two of them glanced through the files together, Ray. On numerous occasions. The same cafe. The same schedule. Was there an affair? Ray inquired, although it appeared to more closely resemble a statement. Ava acknowledged. However, this is not the only issue. She moved a USB device across the table. What is this? Evidence of an entity that is considerably more substantial. Check your email upon your return home. Ray was alone that evening with his laptop open. The email from Ava contained encrypted messages, surveillance footage, and Sarah's office password records. There was one thread that grabbed his attention. A dialogue between Julian and Sarah. No, they were not merely romantic partners. They were involved in an evil endeavor. Ray continued to read the messages as he leaned forward. They intended to undermine a small technology venture that Ray had invested in. Sarah had employed him. She had inquired during dinner, demonstrated concern, and obtained access to the files, which she then provided to Julian. The incident had served as an interruption. The genuine betrayal? Industrial espionage. Ray experienced a sensation of the ground beneath him disintegrating. This was not solely a matter of personal preference. This was a criminal act. The following day he encountered Ava once more. The magnitude of this is immense, he informed her. She infiltrated EchoByte by means of me. Ava responded, I am aware that she is currently destroying it from the inside. Additionally, I suspect that an individual within your organization is providing assistance to her. Ray blinks. Whom? I have a contact, but I am uncertain at this time. Information security. Former federal employee. She is capable of providing assistance. He encountered the contact that evening. A straightforward, uncomplicated woman named Layla. Julian's offshore accounts, financial records, and shell companies were decrypted within an hour. They were in the process of dissipating. Would you like to go public? Layla inquired. Ray took a moment to reflect. He desired justice, but he also desired clarification. Conclusion. Not exclusively for the organization. For his own benefit. He stated, I wish to confront her. 2 days later, the confrontation occurred. Ray waited outside Sarah's new office, which was located in a modern building in the heart of the city. He had already forwarded copies of the files to Ava, the authorities, and his lawyer. In the event that an occurrence occurred, an individual would be informed. Sarah exited the elevator. She was paralyzed upon observing him. Ray, she said, her gaze darting. You are not meant to be present here. His phone was raised. No need for concern. I am documenting every detail. Additionally, I am not present to shout. What is it that you are seeking? The truth. For what reason? Was I merely your ticket to a meal? The expression of Sarah became more firm. You would be incapable of comprehending the situation. She hesitated. Try me. I was promised by Julian that you would never be able to control it. Might. Together you desired an existence. I desired an existence that was entirely mine. Ray shook his head. Therefore you swiped it. She grinned. I received what was due to me. He stated, that is the distinction, his voice remaining icy. You believe that you are entitled to everything, including what is not yours. Stepping closer, she approached. You are unable to provide any evidence. His phone was raised. In reality, I am capable of doing so. Her expression deteriorated. I have already completed it. Sarah and Julian were indicted on numerous counts of corporate larceny and fraud 1 week later. Ray was able to testify about the role she played after his company was cleared. He reconstructed his emotional and professional well-being in the months that followed. Ava established a consistent presence in his life. Layla aided him in the recovery of the damages. Additionally, Sarah? She had not anticipated it, much like Ray had not. Like what you heard. There's plenty more heartbreak and secrets to come. Hit like, subscribe, and stay curious with Tangled Truths.